Well, we're focusing on that matter this morning on the program. We're joined by Mr. Oluwole Osaze Uzi, who is the Director of Voter Education for INEC. He joins us via phone. Good morning, and thank you for joining us today. Well, in the light of this judgment, many still wonder, is INEC still going to go ahead and conduct the elections this weekend?
Yes, absolutely. We are quite prepared to conduct the election, and we're going to go ahead. The conditions for postponement to election are outlined in the Electoral Act, and a judicial process is not one of those conditions outlined, except, of course, there's a specific order from a court requesting us or asking us to postpone or to suspend the election. So all preparations are ongoing, and we will go ahead. And Jegede's name has been restored to the list of candidates.
So, do we have his name on the ballots? Can you hear me?
Hello?
So, his name is on the ballots that has been distributed by INEC?
Hello?
I can hear you. Can you hear us? Okay, we'll seem to, we'll sort that out and come back to you in a moment. But he did say that, well, judicial process is not one of those requirements as stipulated by the Electoral Act, as he has said, on grounds for which they can postpone the elections. But we'll just hope to get him back.
You know, if you look at it, INEC has got a lot of questions, to answer on this. The question you put forward to him is very, very important, knowing full well that INEC did say they were already ready for this election. And perhaps that ballot is one important document that a lot of people would want to know if his name is already on the ballot.
I think it's back. Mr. Sazelzi, can you hear us now?
Yes, I can. Thank you.
Okay, you say that the judicial process is not one of the reasons that the elections can be postponed for. So, because before now, we understand INEC had distributed all the materials.
Yes.
So, as it is now, you say his name is back on the ballot.
Yes, you see, we don't put names of individual candidates on the ballot paper, as it were. We do put the names, acronyms, the symbols of the political parties. So all the while, the name of the PDP, the symbol has been on the ballot paper. And all the other processes, apart from the list of candidates, all the other processes are not unique to individual candidates. So what we did basically is, when we go 24 hours to election, we inform the presiding officers, we inform the electoral officers, we inform all involved in the process that, look, this Tayo Jegede, the Advocate of Nigeria, is the candidate of the PDP. And it's the return officer, it's the final result where you write the names of and make a return of an individual. But otherwise, the name of the PDP has been in all the processes, all the papers.
So how is INEC going to comply or deal with Section 45 of the Electoral Act as amended about polling agents?
About what?
The polling agents.
Polling agents. Look, parties submit agents. So they've done those 7 days at a time. They've submitted agents, and if there's any reason we see that there's any particular polling unit where he has not done so, then we'll probably accommodate him. But there's the parties that usually submit lists of agents.
We quite understand that, but we also know that those agents are usually loyalists to the candidates, and these are trusted people from the candidates. And knowing full well that the names already submitted are names from the Jimoh Ibrahim camp, what then happens to his own?
Well, he will raise, if that comes around, he will raise it with us. The PDP has not raised it with us. It is the parties that submit lists of candidates generally. So there has not been a complaint that has been brought to our attention, so it hasn't arisen.
So is the commission going to give him time to raise his own party agents and submit to you?
If he raises that request, it will be considered. But you seem to forget that all the while, Jegede's name has been the one that was on the ballot until about 3 weeks ago. So it's not as if he's a stranger to us. We've displayed his personal particulars as a candidate. In fact, that until I think it was the 14th of October when the Federal High Court gave this order. So I don't think it's strange to the process. It's not strange to us, certainly not. And we have always said that if a Supreme Court gives another order, then of course we'll restore. It's a restoration of his name, not putting his name, restoration of his name as the candidate of the PDP.
So in other words, help us here now, because for some, they're trying to have an idea of what kind of ballot we have for this election. Is it just the insignia or the logo of the political parties and no name of candidates? That's it?
As I said earlier, that has been the usual practice. In fact, apart from sometime in 2007, where we tried to put the names of individual candidates, all other elections in Nigeria, we have the names and insignia, the symbol and acronym of the party. So a party like the PDP, now probably have an umbrella and PDP in the colors of the party with PDP written on it. That is how our ballot papers are designed here.
So what if Jegede comes up and says, well, according to the Electoral Act, it says I've got 7 days before the fixed date of the election to raise and submit the list of my party agents to the commission. If he latches onto that, how will the commission respond to this?
Well, first of all, you don't have 7 days to submit. You can submit at any time prior to 7 days. So he could have submitted a month ago. If he does then raise that, we'll look at it and say, well, probably in circumstances, if he says a list submitted earlier is not of his own making, and he, being a genuine candidate, wants to submit a list, the party will then submit a list, and I think Commission will consider that on its merit, yes.
You know, INEC said that the date was not going to shift. You maintain that in spite of the cases in court. Now we have this twist. What if we have another twist before the time? What would you then do? Which is going to be maybe after Saturday.
We'll comply with the law. If it's coming from a superior court, we'll comply with it. If it's coming from the Supreme Court, because the Supreme Court is superior to the Court of Appeal. If tomorrow the Supreme Court says Jegede is not the candidate or any other person, then we'll come. We're about to comply with it. That is the rule of law.
So you don't think you have a valid case based on law to say, well, look, why don't we wait for all of this to be over and done with, since they are pre-election matters, before we go ahead with the election?
Then if you did that, you will not conduct any election in this country. And you seem to lose focus on the fact that the APC also has a case in court, the pre-election case in court. You also say we wait for it to run its course all the way to the Supreme Court. And we have timelines within which to conduct and conclude this election. And at one stage, the AG, I'm not so sure about the present position of that case, also had litigation in this same Ondo state. I'm sure you're not suggesting, or nobody is suggesting, that we should wait for all the cases to be exhausted before we conduct the election. We'll be out of time and in breach of the constitutional provisions for the time for the conduct of elections.
Basically, for some, they still think that it's not been too fair for Mr. Jegede, knowing full well that he's been in the courts trying to challenge this matter, and he's lost some campaign time. So when some are looking towards INEC for a shift in this election, is that a good enough reason for INEC to consider a shift?
Yeah, I said so earlier. You can shift an election, for example, on the death of a candidate. That's Section 36. You countermand the election, and then you fix another day for the election. That is Section 36. There's no death here. Section 26 of the Electoral Act, on the other hand, gives you the other conditions upon which you postpone the election. Natural emergencies, natural disasters, it defines them. So if we were a breakdown law, that is one of them. So if we're to go outside those provisions, we'll be acting outside the provisions of the law. I don't think any rightful member of society will ask us to act outside of the law.
Okay, just give us a moment. We'll take a break. We'll be back afterwards. Do join us again.